Chapter 5, Plant Eaters. The first, the fastest, and the smartest dinosaurs were flesh eaters, but the very biggest dinosaurs ate nothing but plants. The first plant-eating dinosaurs appeared on Earth several million years after the first flesh eaters. Like the flesh eaters, plant eaters lived during all three periods of the age of reptiles. There were many more kinds of plant eaters than flesh eaters. Sauropod fossil. Some made meals out of ferns and bushes. Others were tall enough to eat leaves from the tops of trees, but none of them hunted other animals for food. Plant eaters. Many different kinds, some very tall, some short, none hunted other animals. Plant eaters lived during all three periods of the age of dinosaurs. Not all these plant eaters lived at the same time. The biggest plant eaters were the sauropods. The sauropods left footprints as big as truck tires. They have names that mean things like monster lizard and titanic lizard. For many years, paleontologists thought the biggest dinosaur of all time was a sauropod called Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus was as long as 3 school buses, but now fossil hunters have found bones of 3 dinosaurs that were even bigger. Big. Supersaurus, which means super lizard. Really big. Ultrasaurus, which means extreme lizard. Really, really big. Seismosaurus, which means earth-shaking lizard. We don't know much about these giant sauropods because only a few of their bones have ever been found. But some paleontologists think Seismosaurus might have been over 150 feet long as 6 school buses. Was Seismosaurus the biggest dinosaur of all? No one knows. Dinosaur hunters discover new fossils every year. It's possible that any day they'll dig up the bones of an even bigger giant. Turn the page to see some of our favorite plant eaters. This way. Our favorite plant eaters. This name means roofed lizard. Stegosaurus. Stegosaurus was about the size of a minivan. It had 4 long spikes on the end of its tail. It had big flat plates growing out of its back. Stegosaurus had a very small head. For many years, most books described Stegosaurus as having a brain the size of a golf ball. But paleontologists now think that Stegosaurus's brain looked more like a hot dog. Stegosaurus brain, hot dog. Long tail spikes, flat back plates, tiny head, huge body. Ankylosaurus. Ankylosaurus was the size of an army tank and built like one. Its body and head were covered with armor. The armor was made of bone. It protected Ankylosaurus from flesh-eating dinosaurs like T-Rex. This name means fused lizard. Heavy armor, spikes for protection. Ankylosaurus had a big club on the end of its tail. Paleontologists think Ankylosaurus used its tail club to smash the feet and legs of any dinosaur that tried to attack it. Tail club. Edmontosaurus. This name means lizard from Edmonton. Edmontosaurus also used to be called Anatosaurus. Edmontosaurus had a bill like a duck's. It also had over 1,000 teeth. When any of its teeth wore out, new ones grew to replace them. Strong legs. Paleontologists believe that Edmontosaurus took good care of their babies. They protected their nests. They gathered food for their babies to eat. They probably looked after their babies until they were old enough to look after themselves. 1,000 teeth in mouth. Bill looked like a duck's. Triceratops. This name means three-horned face. Triceratops. Triceratops had a face like a scary Halloween mask. It had a beak like a parrot's. It had 3 long horns. Paleontologists say that Triceratops used their horns mostly to fight off other dinosaurs that were trying to eat them. But they also think that sometimes 2 male Triceratops would lock horns and fight with each other over a female. Boo! 3 horns, neck shield called a frill, beak like a parrot's. Diplodocus. Diplodocus. This name means double beam because of the shape of the bones in its tail. Very long tail. Diplodocus was a long, skinny sauropod. It had a long tail and very strong legs. Some paleontologists think Diplodocus could balance on its back legs and its tail, then stretch up to eat from the very tops of trees. Diplodocus ate almost all the time. Its mouth was so small compared with its body that it had to take hundreds of bites to make a meal. Small head, very long neck, small mouth, strong legs. Brachiosaurus. Brachiosaurus. This name means arm lizard, named for its long front legs. Brachiosaurus looked a little bit like a giraffe. It had a very long neck and a small head. It had front legs that were longer than its back legs. But Brachiosaurus was twice as tall as a giraffe, and its nostrils were on the top of its head. Strong, thick tail. Small head, nostrils on top of head. Long neck, long front legs. Jack and Annie's Dinosaur Hall of Fame. The biggest head, Torosaurus. Triceratops. Torosaurus. For years, scientists said a dinosaur called Torosaurus had the biggest head of any land animal that has ever lived. But new research suggests that what people once called Torosaurus was really just a fully grown Triceratops. Scientists think the adult Triceratops' head must have been about 1/3 the size of its whole body. If Annie's head were 1/3 the size of her body, she would look like this. Longest neck, the longest neck. Mamenchisaurus. Mamenchisaurus. Mamenchisaurus was also a plant eater. It had the longest neck of any of the dinosaurs. Mamenchisaurus's neck was about 33 feet long. That's nearly half the length of its entire body. If Jack's neck were half the length of his body, he would look like this. The biggest eyes. Dromaeosaurus. Dromaeosaurus. Dromaeosaurus was a flesh eater. It was about the size of an ostrich and had eyeballs as big as oranges. If Annie's eyes were as big as oranges, she would look like this. The longest name, Micropachycephalosaurus. Micropachycephalosaurus. Micropachycephalosaurus was a small plant eater discovered in China. Its long name means tiny, micro, thick, pachy, head, cephaleo, lizard, saurus. His real name is Glasses and Backpack Boy.